All right, Monday Night Raw starts off with CM Punk. He starts off and he immediately just runs straight to the ring. He didn't waste any time. He wasn't celebrating with the fans. Nothing. He's angry, of course, for good reason. Immediately storms to the announce table, get a microphone, and he basically calls out all of his enemies. He calls out Seth Rollins. He calls out CM Punk. I'm not CM Punk. Calls out The Rock and calls out John Cena. He starts off with The Rock, mentioning how The Rock constantly takes other people's spots due to him feeling like he's the bigger star, saying that The Rock has a big ego, feels like he's above criticism, mentioning him on the board of directors. Then he ends up mentioning John Cena, saying that he was right all along about him being this fake nice guy, and ends up mentioning that he's weak for selling his soul and that he went against everything he ever stood for with hustle, loyalty, and respect. Then he starts mentioning Seth Rollins. He ends up saying that his wife Becky Lynch needs to get her man before he puts him in a wheelchair. Then Seth Rollins comes out. He didn't even allow Seth Rollins to do his thing, do his entrance. He immediately just runs straight towards the entrance ramp, and they end up brawling. This was great. They end up doing the whole thing where they brawl, break away from security, brawl again, break away from security. This was great. This lasted a while, but it wasn't overdoing it. This was one of the brawls where it lasted a long time, but it didn't feel like they was doing it too much. It didn't go on for too long. It didn't feel that way. It felt like it ended when it needed to end, especially with them hating each other the way they do. It was perfect in the way they did it, in my opinion. This was great. Then we end up getting a segment later on with Seth and Adam Pearce where they confirm it's going to be a steel cage match. Was supposed to be the end of the rivalry, which I don't think so, especially with it being close to Mania. I don't see how it's going to be the end of the rivalry, especially because I'm assuming Roman Reigns is going to be in the mix of that match, but who knows. But overall, I like what they did. This was great. I love how CM Punk was just immediately just stormed to the ring, to the announce table. I love how he just stormed out there. He wasn't celebrating. He was just immediately pissed. He was crashing out as he should. He got cost out of his main event spot. I love what they did here. This is great. I just can't wait till John Cena appears when he comes back with The Rock. I'm assuming due to him selling his soul to The Rock. I wonder how that interaction is going to be, but this is great. I love what they did. I love what they did here. After this, we end up getting Gunther versus Otis. Gunther, of course, beats Otis, but then you end up getting him attacking Alpha Academy like he did last week. Jey Uso comes back. Comes out. He comes out. He ends up taking out Gunther with a spear. But then you get A-Town Down Under. They ended up having a segment last week, but I didn't think it was going to lead to anything. But of course it is now. They attack him, but he ends up taking them both out. And then you end up getting Gunther coming back into the mix and ends up choking him out, putting him in a sleeper hold. Okay. I like what they did here overall. I just don't like A-Town Down Under. Now, to be fair, I like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. It's just that I just don't care for them due to Triple H ruining them with the freaking Austin Theory babyface turn. That completely ruined any hype I have for these two. Every time I just see them on my screen, I'm just annoyed due to them not doing anything with it. It's like, okay, I'm cool with not doing the face turn. I don't care. But if you're not going to put them in a prominent position, because they're still a tag team, you could easily use them in the tag division, but you don't use them in the tag division. So and then they're going to have a match with Jey Uso, which I don't understand why, because Jey Uso should solely be focused on Gunther. Why is he focused on, just going to be honest, two losers? Why is he focused on two guys who are losers who you can argue are barely even mid-card guys? I'm just going to be honest. At this point, they're barely even mid-card guys. So it's why are we wasting our time with this? Like I said, I like the segment overall. I just don't like that A-Town Down Under was the people that you have to do this with. And plus, I feel like you could have done this in another way without involving A-Town Down Under, in my opinion. But maybe I'm just wrong. But overall, I'm enjoying what they're doing with Gunther and Jey Uso. Now, I'm hoping that we don't get another. I'm assuming we're not getting another match with Alpha Academy, because you can't do the same thing 3 times in a row now. The first time it was good. The second time was good. Now we got to change it up. You can't do it the third time now. But overall, I like what they did. After this, we're getting Lyra versus Ivy now for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This was a good match. I enjoyed it. Of course, Lyra picks up the victory. I'm just hoping that they continue building up Ivy now. I'm hoping that they don't do what they've been doing on SmackDown with the Women's U.S. Championship, where they only push one woman, which is Michin, because we already have that issue. Well, had that issue. We don't have it anymore, but we had that issue with the Women's World Championship with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. So let's hope that they continue to put new women into the mix. I highly doubt it, but especially with it being this close to Mania, it's going to be kind of hard to put multiple women into the mix of that championship, especially if you want to have that title on the card. So very interested to see how that plays out. But hopefully they continue to build up Ivy now. Hopefully they continue to build, Lyra, continue to have her get at least a few more title defenses. But overall, this was a really good match. Then we get the War Raiders versus American Made. They put on an absolute banger. This was a banger of a tag match. Really enjoyed it. The War Raiders retained. It is unfortunate that American Made in general lost all their title opportunities, but to be fair, I didn't expect them to win. I hope the War Raiders continue to get titles and defenses because they are a great tag team and they can be entertaining if you just give them something to do and give them some stories. Because SmackDown right now is really building up their tag division. It's really Raw that needs help, and the War Raiders are a good team to start off with. Now, I still think it should be the New Day, but overall, like I said, hopefully they continue to build up the Raw tag division. Hopefully they continue to get some more defenses. After this, we end up getting Finn Balor. I'm not going to really speak about this. Finn Balor basically was talking to Bron Breakker, basically saying that he wouldn't be champ without the Judgment Day and that he would beat him if they have a match. Bron Breakker comes out from out the crowd because he was at the top of, I forget what you call it, but he was in the crowd talking. He comes down. He was trying to fight Finn Balor. He ends up taking out all of Judgment Day because they tried to jump him, but it failed. And then he tries to he did attack Finn Balor. They end up brawling. He ends up getting the upper hand. He was about to spear him, but then Dominic Mysterio saves him. I'm going to be honest. I do not care. I just don't care. I don't care. I don't know why we're... Just go do the AJ Styles feud, please. No, I don't care. I like Finn Balor. I do, but he's a loser. Like, I can't take him seriously. Like, I can't. Please just go back to the AJ Styles feud. Go back to the AJ Styles. Go back to Sheamus for all I care. Do anything but Finn Balor. Like, no. I do not want the Judgment Day vortex with Bron Breakker. No. Because it's going to be so predictable and so boring. It's already predictable with them constantly getting destroyed and they have a 3-on-1 advantage. End this now. Please. Pivot. I don't care. I don't care if it doesn't make sense for them to pivot. Please, we do not need Finn Balor and Bron Breakker. I'm sorry, we don't need it. Maybe if Finn turns babyface and gets some momentum, but right now, no, please do not do this. Please, just end it. Go back to what you was doing with Sheamus for all I care, but please end this. Then we get the main event, Rhea versus Iyo Sky, and they actually did it. They actually have Rhea Ripley lost her title, which is shocking. And very confusing. Now, the story that they told here was Rhea Ripley was too distracted on Bianca, which I don't understand why she was that distracted by Bianca because they have little to no history. Now, the whole story they're telling was that Rhea felt jealous that she didn't want to face her or some shit. I felt like that was stupid. I just don't understand. This would have made more sense if this was Liv Morgan of all people, if I'm being honest. It would have made more sense for her to be mad at Liv Morgan due to their history, but they have little to no history. This doesn't even make sense for them to even, for Rhea to act this way, this is so out of Rhea Ripley's character that it doesn't even make sense in my opinion. But they have Iyo beat her. Now, the thing I'm confused about is why, because I just don't understand it, because the only thing I could think of is that Triple H loves Iyo Sky. That's literally it. Because from a money standpoint, this doesn't make sense. From a storyline standpoint, this definitely doesn't make sense. And from a build the best match, this doesn't. Yeah, this has to just be Triple H loving Iyo Sky, which I know he loves Iyo Sky. He was a fan of her in NXT. He was a fan of her on the main roster because he immediately pushed her, got her the Money in the Bank, got her the WWE Women's Championship. But this just doesn't make sense, especially because we've been wanting Rhea Ripley versus Bianca for the longest time, but now they're just going to pivot and do Iyo Sky and Bianca. I just don't understand why they would do this. And it's going to sound like I'm hating on Iyo Sky because I'm not the biggest Iyo Sky fan, but to be fair, I would have felt this way about any woman doing this. I would have felt this way if Roxanne Perez, someone who I love, doing this. I would have felt the way about Bayley, in my top 3 favorite women's wrestlers of all time, doing this. I would have felt the way about Becky Lynch, my women's GOAT, doing this. I would have felt the same way about anybody doing this. But it just makes even less sense for Iyo Sky of all people to do this, if I'm being honest. We'll see where this plays out. But yeah, I don't really like the decision, but we'll see how this plays out. But overall, this video is a little different. You guys probably already could tell. I know it's late in the video, but it's gonna be not that many pictures and not that many videos. Probably no videos at all playing, no clips. The way I've been trying to edit this video for the longest haven't been working, so that's why it's like this, but it should be back to normal. But overall, this show was fine. It was a whatever show for the month. It was a decent show, but you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.